After last week's shocking cliffhanger, the Pitt episode 10 starts as Dana enters the hospital following Doug punching her in the face. The river of blood pouring down her nose causes a small panic among the doctors as she's admitted. The hour plays by with her in recovery as she's being checked out. Not only does the event add to the already high stress levels in the hospital, but it means she's not around to observe the new emergencies coming into the hospital. These are coupled with interpersonal drama, including one conflict that finally reaches its apex. Dana's injury keeps her benched for the episode. The Pitt's charge nurse gets admitted. It's unclear at first how bad Dana's injuries are, prompting Robbie to have her get scans to ensure she didn't break anything. As they report what Doug did to the police and surrounding hospitals, Robbie also has to deal with the officers already in the hospital, speaking to Teresa about her son David. It turns out Dr. McKay was the one to report him, citing worry for the girls the young man wrote he wanted to hurt. While it leads to some confrontations with Robbie, the senior attending ultimately agrees, apologizing for only thinking of the boy's wellness. While David's whereabouts remain a mystery by episode's end, Dana's injuries do get some resolution. She didn't break anything, getting the green light to come back to work if she wanted. Dr. Collins tells her the news, the pair lying in a hospital bed together and bonding over how difficult the day has been. Their moment emphasizes the friendship seen between them in prior episodes, acknowledging the unique stress of their day. It's an eye in the storm, too, considering everything else that plays out during the hour. The Pitt's young doctors keep proving themselves with new cases. The realism leads to one particularly depressing outcome. Dr. Dennis Whitaker, Jaron Howell, and Dr. Victoria Javodi, Shabana Aziz, looking shocked in the Pitt Season 1 EP7. Image via Max. The Pitt's other characters continue to impress as they tackle even more difficult cases. A major highlight is Whitaker assisting with a patient who has intense burns across his entire body. He's able to bond with the man's pregnant wife because of their similar rural backgrounds, with her even inviting him for dinner sometime after he makes incisions to stabilize her husband. But his hopeful demeanor is quickly dashed by Langdon, who tells him the burn victim's injuries are severe enough he's probably going to die. It's a sobering reality Whitaker is forced to sit with. At the same time, a Jane Doe arrives after suffering a seizure, despite being in her 20s. They later learn the girl is a professional gamer named Vera, who slowly starts to come out of a catatonic state. However, disaster strikes when she experiences medication side effects, leading to an argument between Mel and Dr. Mohan about whether to intubate. Mohan's no intubation ends up being the right call, causing Mel to question her abilities. But, since other episodes have shown her skills, it's clear she has nothing to worry about, something Mohan reminds her of. In the meantime, Victoria assists McKay with operating on a 16-year-old who was hit in the eye with a baseball, all while his father discusses the boy's potential prospects as a major league player. This gets under the med student's skin, as she's reminded of the pressure her mother puts on her to perform well at the hospital. She ends up snapping at the father when he tries to get answers about how long his son's healing will take. McKay explains his pushiness was likely a coping mechanism, giving Victoria a valuable lesson in separating the personal from the professional. While the Pitt's medical realism has always been its focus, episode 10 interweaves the personal by introducing Chad, McKay's ex, and their son, Harrison. The newcomers arrive after Chad suffers a skateboarding accident, offering some tension that's broken with levity after he's put on drugs. He believes McKay might be dating Mateo, a revelation that doesn't have much evidence outside his offer to get foot massages with her later in the episode. As for Harrison, there's a heartwarming moment where she confirms he can stay with her until his dad gets better, getting a big hug in response. Robbie and Langdon's final clash means a huge change for future episodes. Santos confides her suspicions to the senior attending. Robbie looking grim next to Langdon looking worried in the Pitt custom image by Nick Bithrow. But not all ends well in episode 10, as Langdon and Santos' fiery rivalry finally reaches its apex. Early in the episode, Langdon sees Santos speaking with Robbie while looking back at him. He begins acting paranoid, getting frustrated when Collins calls him an adrenaline junkie and asks the intern about her conversation with the senior attending. Given her suspicions about him stealing medication earlier in the show, his nervousness made it obvious he was guilty, and the other shoe was finally going to drop. In the episode's final moments, Santos confides in Robbie about her suspicions. This leads to an intense confrontation where he forces Langdon to open his locker, revealing a multitude of medications inside. While trying to explain it away as treating back pain from a prior injury, Robbie, in keeping with the Pitt's real-world accuracy, chews him out before forcing him to leave. But the senior attending has tears in his eyes, clearly feeling betrayed as the reality settles in that Langdon can't be trusted to work at the trauma hospital anymore. Episode 10 ends on a tense note, but one that echoes another concerning revelation Robbie spoke about earlier. Twice in the episode, Robbie mentions his shift almost being over, even emphasizing how there's only 3 hours left when the episode begins. However, with 5 episodes remaining and Noah while hinting the Pitt's final episodes will feel different from everything that's come before, something big is bound to extend his shift. This intense episode might be the last shred of normalcy for Robbie before everything changes.